have, well, all you guys to thank. Just Runs Group, San Diego Four-Wheelers, Scruff, Pirate Guys. Thanks a lot. Go wheeling.
I want to thank Richard Toll, the OHV program manager from Cleveland National Forest, Spencer, how do you say it, Leadorn, Recreation Lands staff officer, and Graham, who's there, who does a lot of the work. So also want to thank the members of Tierra Del Sol for their efforts, and all you that from outside the club that helped as well. It's in this day and age, it's not common for new trails to be opened up. Most of the time it's the other way around, so this is kind of a pretty cool deal. So thanks to all of you, thanks to the U.S. Forest Service, and that's it. Somebody else want? You want to say something, Richard?
Oh.
Well, I don't have anything prepared, but I just want to echo Tim's thanks to everybody that's been involved in this. When I first came up with this idea, it was sort of an experiment to see if a new model could be created on the way that the public lands are managed for motorized use. We had an opportunity in this inventory process to come up with something that we know from day one, scene one, is appropriate use for that land. People hear the term resource management, and resource protection is another term that I hear people kind of cringe on the off-road side of this equation. And the reality is that everything you see around here, that table, the trails you guys just made, those are resources that are, as far as the way I'm required to manage it as a professional, those are just as important as the birds and the trees and everything else. It's all part of one picture. So getting people in at the level that you guys are in now to go from proposing this trail, these improvements, to add opportunity, to have then people come along and go out and understand what the issues are, why it is that you do things and why it is that you don't do certain things, to get your trail to go in, be fun, but be something that will stay there. I think the term sustainable is very appropriate to use in that case, because I don't have the ability to maintain a lot more than what we already have. So it's got to be well built from the ground up, and having people in at that level and getting them to see that the process does make sense and there are reasons for doing everything the way that we do it. And then coming out at this point with having built the trails and now being able to enjoy them. And of course, it's like, you know, when I get my kids a new puppy. Okay, you have to clean up after this puppy and take care of it. It's kind of like that. You guys are going to be maintaining these. It was in the deal from the beginning, but that's actually the wonderful part. It means that these trails are going to be here because they are your trails, and you're going to see to it that they remain the valuable opportunities that they are. And so that I want to see used from here, you know, as a model. I think we've started something that should, you know, be spread around. That, yeah, there's the sense that you have to fight for your access, you know, your right to access public lands. That's true in a sense, but that's not the only way to do things. We've done this as a group who has cooperated on a local level. I think that's lost on a lot of people. The reality is that at the local level, very often it's possible to get things done, and if you're doing the right thing, it's hard for anyone to say, well, that's, you know, you can't do that, because when you're doing the right thing, that's just the right thing to do. So I just want to say thanks, and enjoy this, take care of it, appreciate it, and it's a wonderful thing. Words fail me to go much farther than to just say I am touched at a level that I cannot describe, to see this as it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Not to mention Bo, who spearheaded this thing for those 4 or 5 years. So
plan is, there's 3 loops. We'll go down here to the trailhead. It's about 5-10 minutes that way. If you're having problems, difficulties on the first loop, then you should probably go somewhere else because it's just going to get more challenging. So let's go on down to the trailhead here, just down that way from the camp, and we'll do a little wheeling. All right.
Can I say a word?
Sure. Go ahead, Rick.
I'm Rick Payway. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the editor of Peterson's 4-Wheel and Off-Road magazine. And Bo invited me out here specifically because it was such a good cooperative effort between Richard and the Forest Service. This doesn't happen all over the U.S., but it should. It takes, like he said, it takes people like you guys to open the trails, take care of them and everything else. And it also takes guys like you that say, oh yeah, yes, it's hard work to do it, but even though it's easier to close everything down, people that think ahead and say, look, this is a resource that we can all use, that's what's really nice. So the important thing is to go tell other people about this type of thing and get others interested, because what did you say about the puppy? Who's going to pick up the remains?
You have to clean up after it.
Well, you all know. How many are parents here? Okay, yeah, how long does that last, right? Okay, so regardless, you guys are still going to be the parents on this trail, even though a lot of other people are going to be using it. So the more people we can get in, more people we can get interested, more people we can get in to take care of things, the more trails like this we can have. So as far as taking photos of the trip, I'm going to have an article in the magazine. This is a regular group. I usually have to give a little speech about, okay, no beer cans, no holding on to the top of the roll bar, none of that kind of stuff. I think you guys already know all those rules. This is a good group. It's too cold. Thanks, Mo. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I'm Roger Mullins from Just Runs. This is one of the few cases where we haven't looked at the Forest Service guys in an adversarial way. And Richard here is a guy that, you know, is a guy you can work with. And we can work with other Forest Service guys, but we need to not approach them in an adversarial way. And I'd like to see more of this kind of thing in other forest areas. Non-adversarial. We don't have, they're not the enemy. Even though a lot of things you read about the Forest Service, they're always in four-wheeling publications, not yours, but others, on websites, it's always an adversarial thing, and it doesn't have to be. We need to be more cooperative with it.
Roger, can I offer a tip to go along with that? When you do go into a negotiation with the Forest Service, the difficulty comes from people walking in with what is not possible and then harping on what is not possible. If you're going to negotiate with any agency, the Park Service, the Forest Service, you know, state, federal, the first thing you do is understand what is not possible when you walk in the door. And then you take that off the table. As soon as you do that, then you can do things. As long as you're focused on what is not possible, you're not going to get anywhere. Make sense?
Yep. Yeah. Thank you.